Very recently, I've had a bit of a calling to collect a few more comic books. I haven't collected too many yet, but I've like wish listed a whole bunch, and I thought, I have a fair amount of comics already, so I thought it'd be cool to go over them. They're gonna range from like some Spider-Man, a few miscellaneous ones like the Star Wars one here and all that. It is primarily Harley Quinn related. Another thing I want to mention before we dive in is that so many of these are hardcovers. So mainly like ones where it's like a collection of comics or focusing on specifically the art or like sort of documentary style on the history of certain characters that you'll see as we go along. So that's what you should expect going forward with this video. But yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to document my sort of progress, and maybe I'll do an update in a few months or maybe once a year or something. There's a whole bunch that I'm after, but either way I'm going to cut to some footage of me going through it all, and then I'm just going to narrate over it and talk about my connection with a bunch of these comics. So yeah, just for a bit of fun as well, let me know in the comments the main type of comic you collect. Do you collect a lot of Batman or Superman, or do you do a different line? Like, do you collect the Star Wars comics or whatnot? Let me know. But just a bit of a comic book appreciation video. Again, I don't have the full line of comics for a bunch of these or anything. I mainly just collect comics that I like the covers of and the artwork and all that, obviously. So yeah, but either way, let's get into it, and I'll elaborate more as we go along. Alright, so this is going to be pretty fun to talk about, but as you can see here, I have a custom frame. I chose the colors and dimensions and all that for it. Just some of my favorite Harley Quinn comics, which is cool, and just have that displayed. And here's a preview of what you can expect, a bunch of my hardcovers and individual comics, and you can see like the sort of piles there. Some miscellaneous ones, but again, mostly Harley Quinn related, and a bunch of DC ones, as she is my favorite comic book character. And a bit of a sneak peek in the corner there, but you can see my tweeter head quarter scale Harley Quinn statue. It's my favorite statue that I own, and just a bit of a quick preview there for you. Absolutely love that one. Yeah, as you can see, a nice spread of the comics here, so that's what you're in for. So sit back, relax, enjoy. That's the storage box that I have for my comics there. Some Alex Ross Spider-Man artwork. But yeah, so let's dive into it. So starting off, this is from the first series where Harley Quinn was the main character in the comic series. I believe this came out in the year 2000, so that's just one of the cool cover variants that I have there. And here we have a series by Amanda Connor. She's one of the more recent artists for Harley Quinn, and I like that you can see all like the different variants on it of her. It's very cool. And I usually prefer Harley Quinn when she's black, white, and red. That's the aesthetic and color scheme I like. I prefer most when she's more jester looking. Not too huge on like modern interpretations, but I definitely prefer like the black, white, and red look compared to like the pink and blue. Not really too huge on those kind of looks. But yeah, just a fun cover here. And as you can see here, I like this one because it shows many different versions of her, and that's just always fun to see. And this one I thought was cool because at the top you can see that it's like a Batman v Superman promo. I think it's kind of cool when some promos like that date a comic, and usually on the back of the comic there's like an advertisement. But for this video, obviously they're all bagged and boarded, so I'm not going to be taking them all out of the covers and all that. I'm just going to be showing the front covers, but it is cool to see, like you see there, like Suicide Squad. It's always cool to see. But I think that cover was like fairly creative. This one was pretty neat. I just liked collecting a bunch that were just from different artists. And again, most of these were actually quite cheap. They were all around like $5 to $10. Yeah, I don't really like spending too much money on comics currently. They're mainly the hardcovers I spent more money. This one I got from my friend as a gift a couple years ago, so that was very cool. One of the earlier issues of Harley Quinn. These ones are cool. A bit of a gimmick sort of one, just like a lithograph type deal. Very cool. We see switching between like the wedding dress and the swimsuit there. It's pretty cool. And yeah, same with this one. I like the colors on this one quite a bit. Now this one, alright, so I found this one the other week. This is the comic that ignited my new like sort of interest of like, I'm gonna like check out this artist. Their name is Mora, and I love their stuff. So that was like, I went through so many of their comics, and there's so many that I want to collect, so I'll be getting more of them moving forward. But yeah, I love his stuff. This one was very cool. This one I got in a like mystery box where it was like you buy it was like $20 for 10 comics or something like that, and that was one of them in there. It was pretty cool. I got rid of most of those comics and sold them because I wasn't too huge on them, but ones like this I was like, you know, this is a cool one in the bunch, so I kept it. But yeah, a bunch of them I got rid of. This one's probably one of my least favorite comics that I own. I'm like not massive on it, but it's like good enough for me to hold on to for now, but I might move it on in the future. But you know, Justice League's always cool. This one's pretty interesting, actually. It's like a medieval timeline of the DC sort of thing going on. I think that's just a very interesting premise. It's very cool. This was another one in that mystery box I was talking about. It's like a bit of a paperback 80th anniversary, just going over the history of the character. It was pretty cool. Now this one's very special to me. This one I've had for quite a while now, and this was my first and only ever free comic book day comic that I got. And I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. I don't have too many Spider-Man comics. I do want to get a few more, but very special to me, that one. And this one's very cool. I'm a big fan of Deadpool, and I just think it's just a very fun cover. Has a nice pop of color in this one. This one's very cool. I got this separate a little while ago. Just a cool variant cover of Black Cat / Felicia Hardy. I like the character, so that was very cool. This one, again, I saw it, I'm like, it was just very cheap, and I'm like, just a very cool Star Wars one. I like the cover. And Tomb Raider, I'm a bit of a Tomb Raider fan. I just also appreciate the colors and aesthetic, and I think she actually looks very cool on that cover, so that was cool to get. So, alright, now moving on to this portion of the video, we're going over the paperbacks and hardcovers. So here, first issue of Harley Quinn when she had her own standalone series. That was very cool, as you can see there. Now all of these I'm going to go more in depth and actually show the back and show a bit of the inside of the book. But yeah, so this was her first comic book line where she was the main focus. I believe it came out the year 2000, I believe. Not 100% sure, but I think it's like roughly that. And I just really like the art style. Again, you got the classic Jester Harley, which is my favorite iteration. Love this art style. It's very nice quality. And got some Catwoman in there. It's just very cool stuff. Again, very nice colors and shading and detail throughout the whole thing, really. So that was very cool. Now this one, bit of a foreshadow. So I love this artist. The name is Stjepan Sejic, I believe. That might be how you pronounce their name. But this is just a cover variant. I'm not too interested in the comic book itself. I semi sort of regret getting this. It just mainly had Harley Quinn on the front. But even then, it's not like my favorite like look for the character. But this is just some random space story for the Suicide Squad. So not really too up my alley. I think it was just like a little bit of an impulse buy, this one. I just love the artist, and you'll see why later on in the video. It's my bit of my holy grail in my collection, just of personal interest. But yeah, just a bit of a random space comic. Now this is really cool. So this is Harley Quinn Black, White, and Red. So this is a collection of multiple artists, as you can see on the back here. And the whole comic is only colored in black, white, and red, which are the main colors for Harley Quinn. So I thought that's a fantastic idea for like a collection of comics like this. And they're specifically made for this book, I believe. Like there was a series where you could get them all individually, I think. But this is the collection of them. And it's just really cool to see. It's very creative imagery with everything that they were doing. Just having these specific colors. And because it's also just these colors, there's no weird pink and blue versions of Harley Quinn in this. It's just all black, white, and red, which is, again, like I said earlier, like the colors that I prefer, so it's very cool. But at the very start of this book that you'll see in a sec, we have, again, the artist that I love from earlier that did their own little comic, and I just love their artwork. It's just so fantastic, and I really love their version of Harleen and Joker. It's very, very, very cool. Love that shot there, that panel. Just appreciating that. Very beautiful artwork.
Now this one, again, a little bit of an impulse buy. It was like just cheap enough, but I'm a fan of the animated series. Like, I don't love it. It's a little bit of a guilty pleasure series. I haven't seen the latest 2 seasons, but it's just fun. Now this I got very recently. I got it about a week ago. It's my latest addition to my collection. It's Harley Loves Joker by one of the original creators with Paul Dini. So just a very classic Harley sort of storyline going on with this one. And especially with the style, it's a lot more in vein of the animated series for Batman. So that was very cool. I like that look to Harley in there. But yeah, and at the very end of it, it just had some cover variants for a bunch of other comics, which is cool. Now this was a year or two ago, I believe. This was Harley Quinn's 30th anniversary. So yeah, 2022 it would have been, because she debuted in 1992 in Batman the Animated Series. But you can see all the different cover variants like in the background of this. And it was basically just, again, a bunch of comics just celebrating the character and showing off some artwork and stuff like that. You can see a bunch of the artist names there and everything. So very cool. I believe that's one of the first issues that Harley Quinn actually appeared in. And again, more of the artists that I love here. I just such a great style. Very dynamic. And it stands out very much so. So that was very awesome. Now this one, much more of a traditional story. This is Harley Quinn's origin story, which is Mad Love, if you didn't know. And again, by the original artist, I believe, Paul Dini. And yeah, again, some details on the back there. It's just very cool, like very traditional storyline going into the tragedy of their romance. And yeah, I love the shading and like the high contrast in these panels. And then, you know, this being a bit of the origin when you know, Harleen was treating the Joker and then eventually fell for him. I love this by Bruce Timm, like the actual original drawn posters and stuff like that. That's just so good. I love that. Some special ones now. So we have the individual covers and issues by, again, the artist that I really like. I'm just going to refer to them as my favorite artist for this. But look at how good these panels are. So detailed. But this storyline is 3 issues. And it's just literally just the origin of how she becomes Harley Quinn. And she treats a bunch of patients at Arkham Asylum. And obviously mainly the Joker. And it sort of intertwines with interesting cinematography and panels, as you can see there. And again, I have all 3 issues just because I loved it that much. I actually have the hardcover, which you'll see very shortly. But I loved it so much. It's my favorite iteration of Harley. Comic book wise at least, and I wanted to get all 3 individual issues because I just loved it that much and wanted them for display. So just so good. But it's just a dark, twisted romance. And again, if we ever get a movie, live action movie just focusing on Harley Quinn, this is the one that they should take inspiration from this story, because this would make a fantastic movie with great visuals, and there's just like so much money to be made here, and it would be a very faithful adaptation if they go down this route. Really love this cover. Again, there's a fair amount of Poison Ivy in it, as she's like a second love interest later on in her life, but tries to help her a bit early on as well. But yeah, very gorgeous cover. Again, I just love so much artwork in this series. And oh man, when I originally found the hardcover that you'll see just after this issue, I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. I just thought it was a really cool cover. But yeah, just how cool is that? So much detail. But this is the special hardcover that is my favorite, just Harley Quinn related thing that I have. And it's actually very awesome as well. I actually have a pop vinyl that is actually based on the cover of that. And it's like a sort of comic book sized one. It's really cool. I absolutely love it. But yeah, and this is on the inside as well. So it sort of shows you behind the mask. I just think that's so cool. This is actually some behind the scenes of like early on in the process before this was actually made. As you can see in like the timestamps up there. But just a brilliant storyline. And you see the dark twisted romance. And it's just perfectly encapsulates all of these characters. Just so good. It's always really cool seeing like early iterations before like a final thing came out. Very artful. Now this is a big one. So this is the art of Harley Quinn. I think this was for the 25th anniversary of the character. And this just has a compilation of just all of her artwork over the years. And you got a like fun back of the cover there. But yeah, it just goes over all the different artists. Like you got Bruce Timm there. Foreword by Paul Dini, which again was one of the co-creators for the character. And yeah, you can pause it, give that a read there if you want. But how cool is this poster? Again, original Bruce Timm artwork. Just I love the shading and the pencil coloring and detail. Just so cool. Same with this one. So it just goes over artwork of her throughout the years, and they're like full page illustrations. That's an Alex Ross one there. Love that one. That's very iconic. Amanda Connor here. And just some fun panels there. She's collaborated with Power Girl a few times. That's always like sort of fun and silly. It's the Harley Quinn gang. I haven't read too many of the comics, so my knowledge is a little bit limited on some of the things. And here's like a Wonder Woman sort of funny sort of variant there. Yeah, I just love how playful Harley Quinn is. And again, I love her tragic origin. And I'm very much someone that's into romance. That's why I'm like drawn to the character. Now this is a chonker of a book. You can see so many Easter eggs of all the different Batmen here. This came out a couple years ago. And man, there is so much in here. This is the definitive book. If you love Batman, you need to get this because this has like everything on the character. You have a foreword by Michael Keaton there. Goes over like the very beginning of the character, going throughout all the years. You see so many different artworks. There's so much information. We have Batman the Animated Series here. My favorite iteration of Batman. And again, introduced Harley Quinn, so I absolutely love it. You need to check out that series if you haven't. Batman Beyond here. It's cool seeing artwork. Justice League, the animated series, all of that is just so amazing. I love all those series. That's my favorite DC content, is those animated series. And here we got Arkham Knight. That's my favorite Batman game. Just so much cool stuff there. And that concludes all the comic books that I currently have. So the main ones that I'm looking forward to, I sort of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but Dan Mora really excited me with his range of covers. Like I really delved into his art history, and I'm like, so many of these are really cool, and there's a whole bunch that I want to collect. So I do have a bit of a wish list. And yeah, who knows, if I do an updated comic book collection at some point, probably go over that and show off the new ones that I got. But yeah, either way, that concludes the video. What was your favorite comic book that I have, or hardcover, or, you know, just let me know, just any comic book talk that you want to, you know, put in the comments or anything. But yeah, again, I just thought it'd be fun to do this video and just document. And yeah, I'm probably going to do a few more collection videos, probably more focusing on like games and movies and stuff like that, probably moving forward. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching and stay tuned for future videos.